Evening. Good evening, all.
Hello, good evening, Puriya. Hello, Puriya, how are you?
Hi. Good, brother. And how are you?
All good. Event was successful in New Jersey.
It depends on how we define the success, but yeah, I can take that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can take that as successful for sure. But yeah, crowd-wise, successful.
Yes.
Definitely the message delivery according to the plan. Yes, success. We could have done more with the crowd, but it's all right for now.
Okay. Our speaker sir is joined. RSP.
Good evening, Mr. Andy.
Andy is welcome, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining.
It's my pleasure. Shall we start, Andy? Are we waiting for someone?
Actually, waiting for a few more. Just started. Let's wait for a few more minutes, at least 3-4 minutes.
Shall we wait for another 5 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yes.
Yeah.
Andy, I think should get started. I think it's
Okay.
a working day. I think these people will join as we
Okay.
get
Sure.
started. Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining. This is RSP Garu. This is special for RSP Garu. Just wanted to invite. Thanks for accepting the invitation to give his remarks and speech on this topic of success by identity. Actually, I prepared few notes, but I just want to say it just as a friendly gesture. Well, the idea is that we know that RSP Garu is working so hard to bring forth the political agenda the political strength of the most required people of the community. And for that reason, and we know that he traveled almost 2100 villages and 274 days, and that comes with a lot of experience. And my intention was, with this title of success by identities, and all this experience of traveling so many places, so many meeting so many people, and being well known, very with a lot of uh, expectations, aspirations from, with a lot of success from the Swero. And we know he's a champion of the education in Telangana, especially Telangana. And with so much background, a lot of expectations, we wanted a lot of things to happen on the ground. And for that reason, and where he is, and after traveling so much, I happened to meet him last year for the first time in person in DC, almost exactly 1 year back in 2000, August 27, 2022. And I felt he's working so hard to fill the huge gap, a huge void from these people who is most needed to represent this community, their challenges. So I just the success by identity, in the sense that success comes with some certainty, and the certainty is some after solving some problem, some complexity. And being a BSP president as Telangana Rashtra Samiti Rashtra Adhyakshuluga, and he took charges. And after that, he did so much work. How he can, compile that all the interpretation of his experience towards where, how much momentum he was able to build, and how much strengths and weaknesses, so that he can put it in a perspective and see where he can really give us some ideas where we can play a role in many different ways coming forward for his success and for his efforts to for the whole community. Sir, please take the charge and give us some remarks, and then we will open for the Q&A.
Thank you, Mr. Andy, for giving me this great opportunity of addressing uh, all the friends and colleagues in this part of the world, and then all those people who are watching this live streaming. So I thank you once again for being so curious, and also being generous about me in introducing this. So, um, success by identity. I, for one, believe that identities decide one's destiny, and what we are trying to do is to reaffirm the identity and redefine the identity, and create a new identity altogether in the subaltern space in India. And once this is done, then identities are not just names or the symbols or the songs or the slogans, but identities also involve certain behavioral changes at individual level and at community level. So these identities, when they become collective, then they become kind of a culture, part of the culture, and that decides both individual's destiny and then the collective destiny. So, but where do we find the intersection of this identity with politics is something which is very interesting. So that's what I am experimenting on the ground today. And ever since I joined, politics, I have been moving in the villages, and then have been moving in the urban areas, particularly the bastis, which you call the urban localities, and the remote localities, and meeting lots of people from different walks of life, including poor, women, students, their parents, then the tribals, the backward classes, and all the sections of population, and all religions, and all uh, you know socio-economic strata. So problems vary from region to region, demography to demography, then religion to religion, and the caste to caste. So it is very, very important to understand each problem in its entirety, and every problem is unique in its own way. So there is no standard problem. So poverty in Hyderabad could be different from poverty in Bhupalapalli, and then homelessness in Hyderabad is way different from the homelessness in Etur Nagaram forest. And the illiterate in Hyderabad lives a different life, and illiterate in a village, rural areas and villages live a different life. Then the students with great education, reasonably good education in urban rural areas earn sometimes more than what earn less than what illiterate people earn in urban spaces. So these are a lot of hues. Then the urban people are from, I found them to be highly disconnected when compared to rural people. Rural people, they, as usual, they have a community life, and then they stand for one family, two family, three families, wherever there is a problem. But in urban spaces, you don't find that kind of gregariousness. So for various reasons, one of the reasons is could be busy life. So, but unfortunately, what I have discovered in my journey in the last 275 days is the politicians, they have taken these poor people for granted. Rich, anyway, they have access to all the resources, but poor, unfortunately, are deprived of these opportunities. As a result, they remain as poor, and then they eagerly look for the arms of the government. When I say arms, like, the pensions, the scholarships, the, the schemes, and so on and so forth. Whereas the rich people, they don't need the government. If at all they need the government, they misuse the government. Yeah, Andy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Yes, very clear, loud and clear.
Yeah, so rich people by generally they don't need government. In fact, they benefit from the government. They abuse the government, and they are the people, they run the government from behind. So they are a kind of deep state within the state. So rich people live in gated communities, and then they have everything provided for, and then for everything there is a price. So including the justice. And poor people, they have nothing. They are highly dispossessed, and then they live like refugees in their own motherland. So Bahujan Samaj Party essentially wants to make these refugees, these poor people, that these dispossessed, as the rulers. They want them to bring to the center of power, center of the politics, and center of the polity, center of the public policy. So they will not only be the drivers of the public policy, but they will be the targets of public policy. They will be the principal clients, principal beneficiaries of public policy. So that the principal partners of the prosperity, which is going to be created by the public policy. So that's how the politics of Bahujans are. So many people call these Bahujan politics as casteist politics, which I don't agree at all, because India, the caste is reality. And when you look at the patterns, so only a few castes, particularly the dominant feudal castes, have been ruling the roost, and they have been enjoying at the expense of the poor, the oppressed classes. And all the oppressor classes have been ruling this state for the last 75 years, not just state, even the country as well. So they're
RSP,
minuscule. They're
RSP Garu.
minuscule. Yes.
There is a request if you could open your video. Is it possible?
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
Is it okay?
Thank you.
So, you are already missing RSP?
Really, I'm missing Rai. I was
Come
really
back.
feeling, I should have stayed back for a few more days until Sir leaves. I promise. I'm missing you, sir.
Me too.
I'm
No, no,
missing you a lot.
next time, the second phase of conspiracy will be in Chicago.
Definitely, sir.
Yeah, conspiracy version 2.0 will be in Chicago.
Definitely, sir. Will do.
Yeah, yeah. So coming back to the, thank you, Sai. So coming back to the point, so this, uh, yeah. So rich people, they have they have conspiracies, they have secret agendas, they have hidden agendas, and their agendas are always masked by the media. And then poor people, they have no media. They always as glorious readers, and then what they read is most of the times is crap, and then just the agenda of the ruling classes, which is masked, and that's how it goes. So. Uh, this is how the India is, and then unfortunately in India now the greatest danger is the rise of fascism. So under the leadership of Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, and RSS, so now their majoritarian rule is slowly taking shape at the cost of other minority silent minorities. So this majoritarian rule is fueled by again the feudal, not feudal, but basically the comprador classes, which comprise of predominantly Brahmin and then Banyas. So they are the beneficiaries and they are the chief drivers of the entire this fascist rule, and the subaltern sections and then the oppressed classes remain again as the victims of this fascist rule. So if everything goes well according to their plan in 2024, probably the India, if Narendra Modi comes back again to power, so they will implement the new constitution in bits and pieces. Then probably after 10 years from now, India will have a new constitution replaced with the Hindu Rashtra constitution, which is going to be a very, very retrogressive, and then it sounds a death knell to the poor people in this country. So that is how it is with regards to constitution. So otherwise, um, we are working very hard. So Bahujan politics, many people say, is the only hope which can stonewall these Manuvadi forces, which can, which can act as a kind of firewall for these Manuvadi forces. Otherwise, these forces will uh, rampage, will go on a rampage, and then they destroy all the institutions. And we will all, this majority poor people will have to live like homeless, landless, jobless, and rightless refugees in their own motherland. So that is the danger India is facing. So, but then what is our role then? Like, we being the NRIs and being the, Indian, the Indian citizens, and then the people who are living across the Atlantic and, in the other continents. So what is their role? So my request to all of you is that express solidarity. Fight, the fascist forces always uh, thrive on the fuel and the oxygen and the nutrition provided by the expatriates. Their fascist tendencies are always justified by the expatriates, and then there is they get their legitimacy from different parts of the world, and then they have cleverly planted all these people who can legitimize them, who provide that legitimacy. So our role is to delegitimize these fascists. Primarily the fascists always they divide the society, they plant the dissensions, they plant the hatred, they plant the prejudice, they plant the bigotry, and they reap the economic benefits primarily, and then the political benefits. And they prosper at the cost of 99% of the poorest of the poor, irrespective of the, you know, religion. So that is religion and caste. So that is the reason why it is very important for all the expatriates to be alive to what is happening in your motherland, that is India, and then to start a conversation, whatever platform. If you don't have any platforms, of course, start the platforms and start discussing about the dangers of the abolition of the constitution written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, all the fundamental rights, all the directive principles of state policy, the very preamble of the constitution. So these are some of the things that we should be discussing about, in all the fora, wherever you find the opportunity. And then that's what we have been doing for the last 2 years, both in India and abroad. So I also request you and exhort you to join the forces and then see that, India remains as India. India remains as the most inclusive nation as we inherited from our founding fathers. So this is our primary responsibility to save this secularism, like the preamble, the constitutional values of the country, like justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity, and sovereignty, and socialism, secularism, democracy, and the republic. So all these things have to be absolutely preserved and then perpetuated, but not, should be in peril. So this is what I want to say, Andy, and then rest of the things probably we might take in, during, Q&A. Thank you, Andy.
Okay. Sure.
Thank
Sir.
you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So I will ask one question. So we are watching you from here, especially the election movement. I'll just come to my curiosity question. We were able to predict that, whoever is going, the next time whoever is going to spend 5,000 rupees per ticket, they is going to win. So that is the reality situation. Is that, I mean, you've been working in ground reality, you are official. So what you, for that question, how would you respond, sir, actually?
No,
Someone is
that's
spending
called as,
whoever is spending more, they're going to win. That's very much clearly, like before even the election, it's almost declared. Yeah.
I don't fully agree with you, Andy. So
Okay.
had it been the case, probably, for example, if you take Telangana, KCR should have won, because he had spent a lot of money in Hyderabad by-election. He had spent a lot of money in Dubbaka by-election. But he lost both the elections. And then he's just scraped through in Munugodi elections. It's not just true that, by giving more money, people would vote for you. By now, people have already decided whom to vote and whom not to vote. So money is only psychological satisfaction. So, but otherwise, people take, because people think that this guy for 5 years he has been looting us, and then what's wrong in extracting that 500 rupees or 5,000 rupees from him? But 50% of the people, they have already decided whom to vote and then whom not to vote. So that's why, by mere distribution of money, the fortunes will not greatly change. I don't say they don't have an impact at all, but the impact would be insignificant. It is not very significant. So, but our duty must be to go to the voter every day. So the most of the times, the opposition parties are the parties which do not have money, but well intentions, good intentions. They always, in the face of this money machine, in the face of these power politics, in the face of these corrupt politicians with deeper pockets, most of the times they give up. They don't go to the voters, and then they just conclude that voters are not going to anyway vote, and then they are going to be sold out. So there's no point in reaching out to the voters. I think that's where your resolve comes into picture, and then one should be resolute enough to go to the voter and then educate them. So that's the only way out. And the more you educate repeatedly, if you send the message and then If your messenger is credible enough, I think definitely they will do this. They will change. If not, at least they will definitely change. And then we have seen that change. For example, in Munugodu, we did not spend even a single penny for buying voters. So all our contributions we have spent on campaigning, but not buying the voter. And then still we got 4,200 votes in the by-election, which is not an ordinary figure. So from eighth position, we rose to fourth position. So that gave me a lot of hope, even after all this buying, trading, still I have got 4,200 voters who didn't want to sell their valuable, right. So that's why one should not be helpless. One should not be skeptical. So we should keep on trying. So there is the people with deeper pockets is a reality. So and their effort to try buy the votes is also a reality. But that doesn't dampen our spirits of introducing our clean politics to the extent possible. One has to be practical, but at the same time, to the extent possible, we must be trying our best. And not all the voters, they also know whom to vote. Yeah, I think I have answered your question.
Sure. The floor is open for everybody to ask, talk
Yeah.
to. Yes, please go ahead.
And the questions are okay. Let's follow. Actually, we have good number crowd attended for
Okay.
India and US also. So there are questions in the charts, and people raise hands. So let's mix and match. Okay. So question from Babu Rao Renikunta.
Yeah. Thank you, Brother Roy. Thank you, Praveen Kumar, sir.
Okay, sorry, friends. Actually, the beauty of this Zoom calls is, introduce you. Where your name, where you're from here, and where you're from India. That way, in Zoom call, we can bond.
Sure, brother.
Switch on video at least when you ask questions. That would help.
Okay.
That would be a bonus.
Sure, brother.
handsome Babu Rao. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Brother Roy, once again. And my name is Babu Rao Renikuntla from Boston area. In India, I am from Warangal. And thank you, Praveen Kumar sir, again, once again. So nice to see you. I have one question you were mentioning, and what I'm hearing since couple of years about Hindu Rashtra BJP agenda is bothering me a lot about BSP party. How come BSP party indirectly supporting in UP for BJP? All we know, all these facts, the BJP going to do if they win election once again. And this is bothering me a lot, Praveen Kumar sir. And I was really wondered when you start joining in the BSP first itself, but Kanshiram and Ambedkar, what they did, especially Kanshiram for this party, I was so amazed to see you to joining in this party. But now bothering is about Mayawati and BSP party indirectly supporting BJP. Can you please answer this question?
Unfortunately, I disagree with you, Babura brother, because it is a fake assumption that is being sold to the gullible masses in not just in UP but all over the country. And Manuvadi forces like BJP have been successful enough to poison the minds of people that BSP is BJP's B team, which is absolutely incorrect, true, and it is casteist remark. I'll tell you why. If see the foundations of Bahujan Samaj Party, Kanshiramji and Mayawati, when they started Bahujan Samaj Party, what was their intention? Intention is 90% of the masses are voters, and then only 10% of the rulers, they are enjoying the prosperity at the cost of 90%. That's why they said, vote hamara, Raj tumhara, nahi chalega, nahi chalega. So that was the game plan of Kanshiram. So let us go to the 90% voters and then educate them so that they become the rulers and they vote for their own destinies. That was the idea. Then came the BJP. So BJP understood what Kanshiram was doing. So then, what they did was they divided the vote banks of BSP, and then they started planting dissensions within the vote banks of BSP. For example, SC vote bank was divided and subdivided, and BJP was successful enough to plant the seeds of poison and the dissension, and then they took away 7 to 8% of scheduled caste vote, and then they took away 5 to 10%, 20% of BC vote. Like that, they have divided, subdivided, and then took the electorate. And still still BSP was having a very good vote base. So what they did was, in order to wean away the Muslims from BJP cleverly what they did was they had selectively chosen the audio clips of Benji Mayawati's speech, and then they have morphed them into the clips as if Mayawati has said that we will not vote SP, we will not support SP, but we will support BJP.
Yeah.
So, which is absolutely wrong. The BSP is always against the Manuvadi forces, and BJP is always for protection of Manuvadi forces. Manuvadi is BJP wants to preserve the caste system, preserve the Manusmriti, and then they want to bring back Manusmriti in the form of new constitution of India, Manusmriti, Ramcharitamanas, and all other epic old texts which perpetuated the Varnashrama Dharma and other things. So, but the BSP has been from day one has been fighting for Indian constitutional values, the
Yes.
constitutional values of justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, the fundamental rights, including the religious rights, and then the directive principles of state policy, and then the supremacy of the institutions and the preamble, sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic. So these are the values BSP has been fighting. So nowhere in their history they have supported openly the BJP. So, but still, Congress and BJP have been together in spreading this falsehood against BSP. I'll tell you some of the reasons, some of the evidences why BSP is not a B team of BJP. See, when Meera Kumar was fielded as president, it was BSP who supported Meera Kumar along with Congress. When Rajasthan Congress formed the government, when they fell short of 5 MLAs, it is the BSP which supported Congress party. When Karnataka, when Congress and then JDS combined, formed the party, it was BSP again which joined the Congress-led coalition. And in Uttarakhand, it is BSP which has bailed out the Congress party government. So, in other words, everywhere, every time, BSP has been helping the liberal forces and secular forces, not the Manuvadi forces. However, Kanshiramji only once, if I am not wrong, they took BJP support and then they formed the government. But if you see the rule that they have, if you see their rule, during their rule, whatever they have done, they have supported, they have they have ensured that only the poorest of the poor people prosper, not those religious bigots. So, in politics are different, and the caste associations are different. So that's why we are unnecessarily getting vulnerable and then getting affected by the fake news which are being spread against BSP. For example, when I resigned to my Indian police service, I deliberately chose BSP. Not that I just closed my eyes and then joined BSP. I did my research. I did my due diligence. Like when you buy a share, you go through the balance sheet of a company, and you go through the track record of a company. And when you put your hard-earned money into that share or into that company, so you see whether it has break even, whether it is management good, whether the project previous track record and then the projections as well. Similarly, when I had put my entire career on block and then I've sacrificed the 7 years of my career, then going to any ruling party would have been a no-brainer for me. But why did I choose BSP, although it was not in power? Because it is the only party which protects the constitution.
Yeah.
The constitution, when the constitution which is created by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, not that Hindu Rashtra Samvidhan. So we are going to preserve that constitution. If tomorrow BJP brings out the Hindu Rashtra Samvidhan in place of this present constitution, we are going to fight tooth and nail. Even we are ready to sacrifice our life for protecting the constitution written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So BSP has clearly stated their position in every event. That's why the rumor that BJP's B team is BSP or BSP is the B team of BJP or BSP is helping the BJP in Uttar Pradesh is absolutely baseless. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. Who is
And Andy,
next?
go to Nitin.
Nitin?
Doctor Nitin, yeah. Babu,
Yeah,
can
Nitin,
you
please go ahead,
lower
Nitin.
your hand?
Yes. Can I go?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Nitin Daptode. I'm from Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. I teach there. I'm assistant professor there. I hope I'm audible. You can hear me.
You're loud and clear.
Your video freezing. Can you off the video so the quality of audio will improve? Turn off your video.
Okay.
We already saw you. Yeah.
Your audio is breaking up.
Yeah.
You need to turn off your video.
Yes, I did. Okay, so I'm now in US. I'm in Philadelphia. I'm on a visit for here. So my PhD, Dr. Praveen, my PhD is on Telangana. I have done my PhD on public policy and social corruption and largely looked after in REGA. When I was roaming around the field of Telangana, though I'm from Maharashtra, I did my PhD on Telangana. I could see one very interesting kind of insights from the field, and that was there is a kind of a conflict between scheduled caste and OBCs, and OBCs were in Telangana it has been called BCs, and it has 5 categories in that. So when the idea of Bahujan comes, and this is a kind of a puzzle, this is kind of a research question also. When idea of Bahujan comes, there is a significant conflict between OBCs and scheduled caste. And if we go back to the Maharashtra in terms of atrocities, recent atrocities have been, the brutal atrocities have been committed by the OBCs. And this is also recently go to the Rajasthan, and BSP has raised these atrocities from Rajasthan as well. And Uttar Pradesh also, Yadav versus other scheduled caste communities. Now this tussle, this conflict had somewhere made kind of a scheduled caste and Buddhist or Ambedkarites to be very careful with the idea of Bahujan. Now, as an intellectual or as a leader, political leader like you, coming from very rich experience and understanding, how we are going to deal this problem? Because in majoritarian democracy, we just cannot go with scheduled caste or the scheduled tribes. We have to go with a kind of number, and to go with that number, there is a need to bring that collaboration with an OBC, and that has been successful collaboration in Uttar Pradesh by Manyohar Kansharamji, and at some extent in Bihar too, JDS and JDU. But coming back in larger scenario, when BJP is in power, they have used OBCs very cleverly against the more oppressed, and they are ruling. Today, the BJP is in power because of largely because of the OBC. Now, this is a very significant question before us as a researcher, as well as like a leader like you. So, how you see this?
I think it's unfair although the experience, what you have said is almost true, but it is unfair to brand that or to assume that all OBCs are perpetrating atrocities against scheduled castes, because OBC is not a chunk. OBC is again a conglomeration of different communities with various socio-economic strata, and they are at different stages of socio-economic evolution. So there are OBCs which are as powerful as the oppressor castes, and there are OBCs who are more poorer than the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So, and then there are OBCs who are always nomadic and who have not even a home to live. So OBC is a huge spectrum with a basket of with almost 130, 140 communities, castes. So not all OBCs are perpetrators of atrocities, but there are definitely a dominant classes within the OBCs, and then more often than not, they also do perpetrate like the ruling classes. And then if you go to the police stations, if you see at least 50% of the times they will be the accused, or they will be stooges in the hands of ruling dominant class. So our endeavor must be to address this problem step by step. So we should go to the OBCs who are more poorer than us, or who are almost close to us, and then who have a kind of working relationship with these communities. So that makes the job little easier, and that is more pragmatic too when compared to view. And so I agree. So in majoritarian or politics and democracy, the numbers matter. So scheduled castes average in the country are about 17 to 18%. But with the 17 to 18%, you cannot be successful in the elections. So this is the reality. So you need to have an ally from other communities as well. It could be Muslims, it could be poor among upper castes, it could be scheduled tribes, or it could be the poor among OBCs. So you cannot get votes in chunks. So that's why you should go to the like-minded people across all communities. So, and most of the times, the people who dream for Bahujan rule make a mistake of restricting themselves to scheduled castes, because birds of the same feather flock together. So you feel like comfortable, you feel gregarious, and then you nothing can you don't you enjoy the psychological safety when you go to a jaggi and jhopadi or a colony where scheduled castes live. But that is a trap in political, process. So you end up having only a few thousand votes, but not the numbers that are required to get the power. So for that, you need to go beyond your comfort zones. And first time, it will be very difficult, and it is not going to be easy. I don't think that they are going to lay a red carpet welcome and then are going to shower you with jasmine flowers. That's not going to happen, because Manuvad forces have always been indoctrinating the bigotry in the BCs and other dominant communities. So you should be ready for humiliation. You should be ready for rejection. It should be ready for physical attack also. But look at Kanshiram, Manishri Kanshiram. He had done the same thing, but he was extremely successful. So I think Kanshiram's path is the beacon light for all of us to follow. So apply, go to them, reason it out to them, talk to them about their forgotten histories, talk to them about their gods and goddesses who have been neglected, who have been relegated into oblivion. So That's how you have to, approach this problem. And there is no shortcut, unfortunately. It's going to be an arduous path. And but this has to be done. Otherwise, we continue to be the victims. In spite of being 15% or 20% or 30% in this country, and in spite of the people who have been very, disciplined and religious voters, yet you are always on the receiving end because you are not able to shore up the numbers. So that's why it is very important for us to leave our comfort zone, leave our digital zones, leave our cyber spaces, cyber bubbles, and go to the real world, leave our homes, at least sacrifice 1 hour a day for this activity. Go to neighbor and then tell him, look, we are not what you all think to be. And you are not what you appear to be. You are not what you think to be. So you are cannon fodder for someone else. And someone else is making money at your cost. You are hijacked, you are emotionally blackmailed, and you are bombarded with fake news. But this is the truth. Look at your history. So show them their history. And thanks to Baba Saheb, we have got some idea about how history worked and then how we have been, exploited. So, and then the same thing we have to tell the people who are under the impression that they are doing well, but which in fact they are not doing well. A lot of historic examples, be it Kaka Kalelkar Commission, be it Mandal Commission, be it a lot of injustices done to backward classes as well. So unfortunately, they don't know what's happening to them. They're always hijacked. They're always hypnotized, and they are in deep stupor. So, and it is our responsibility. So, but we cannot distance them just because there are sporadic cases of atrocities against us. It is true, but that should not deter us from reaching out to them. Otherwise, that leads to civil war. I hope I've answered your question.
Hey, Andy, we have 10 minutes. Okay, it's already 10 o'clock in US. He hasn't had a dinner. We may take a couple of questions, Andy, so you can prioritize. Yeah, and let's take in a good mix. Gracina Prakash. Gracina Prakash, unmute yourself, ask the question. Please ask a short, simple questions, okay? These questions are very complicated and time-taking.
Okay.
Let me, Roy, before Gracina goes ahead, let me introduce Gracina for a while. So Gracina used to work for HSBC. So she is amazing communications expert, and then she is very good in banking as well. So, and then after seeing my work, she volunteered to quit her HSBC job and then joined as a trained graduate teacher in social welfare residential schools. And then later, I got her promoted, and then we posted her in, we brought them into head office, and then she used to teach communication to all the students who are part of your study abroad program, most of them. So, and then she has been reasonable, very good, colleague, and then the passionate transformer in social welfare group. So, and then later, after I had quit my job, and in strange circumstances, Gracina also had quit her job. And then I don't know whether she has joined the banking sector or some other sector. I'm not sure. So, but anyway, I'm very happy to see Gracina here. So over to you, Gracina. Please ask questions, but your question must end with question mark.
Thank you so much. I'm humbled by your sweet introduction. Thank you so much, sir. In fact, I wanted to compliment you. Yes, you're absolutely right. It was your work that brought me into the social welfare department, and I was heartbroken, obviously, when you left. But then Praveen Mamidala sir was a great support. Sir, though I quit under strange circumstances, I must say that my love towards social welfare students has not gone. So I'm still supporting around 138 students of our students. And I'm working with a trust as an advisor, Svrata Trust. And thankfully, I'm continuing my services, and I'm having really a lot of satisfaction through that. Currently, I'm working as a project manager in Prolifix. And on a business trip, I've come here to New York to meet my client. So I'll be flying back on September 1st. So I'm very happy to know that you're in New Jersey. So my quick question, sir, is as in my parents, it's a notion that, you know, all Christians usually vote for Congress. My grandfather has been doing that. My parents have been doing that. And I see that Congress is right now very weak, the Telangana Congress. So I believe that a person like you should be joining Congress to enter the assembly to make more difference, because you are a reformer. You have done so many social experiments in the Telangana students, and everything has been successful. And you're one person all the students, you know, are ardent fans of. So I think maybe you should consider that option. Did you ever think about it, sir?
Yeah, very good question. So, since you have quoted Christianity and then the Bible, so I think I should take this as an opportunity to tell all the Christian friends, all the people who, not just Christians, but all those people who believe in God, and particularly since you have mentioned about Christians, and then you also said that Christians generally vote for Congress, which is not always true. But Bible says, if you go by Bible, if you go by word of God, all Christians should be voting for Bahujan Samaj Party. I'll tell you why. You go to Mattai Suvarta. I think most of you are Telugu speaking people. So Mattai Suvarta, 8వ అధ్యాయము 1వ వచనం. కొండ నుండి దిగి వచ్చుచుండగా ఆయనను బహుజన సమూహములు వెంబడించిరి. అదే మత్తయి సువార్తలో మళ్ళీ 5వ అధ్యాయము 15వ వచనంలో కానీ, లూకా సువార్తలో కానీ బహుజన అనే పదము ప్రతిసారి కూడా ఉచ్చరించబడ్డది. అదే విధంగా లూకా సువార్త 17వ అధ్యాయం 20వ వచనంలో దేవుడి రాజ్యము ఎచటనని పరిశ్రయులు ఆయనను అడగగా, దేవుడి రాజ్యము అచటనో ఇచటనో లేదు, దేవుడి రాజ్యము మన మధ్యనే ఉన్నది అని చెప్పి ప్రభువు భక్తులకు సెలవిస్తాడు. ఓకే, అదే విధంగా రోమా సువార్త 13వ అధ్యాయం 1వ వచనంలో ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే, నీతివంతమైన రాజ్యములు అధికారములు దేవుడికి ఇష్టమైనవి అని చెప్తారు. అంటే నేను ఎందుకు ఇవన్నీ చెప్తున్నాను, అంటే మీరు ఆది కాండంలో ఐజక్ 2 కొడుకులు ఉంటారు. సో ఒక అతని పేరు ఎస్సావు, ఇంకొక అతని పేరు యాకోబు. ఈ ఇసావు యాకోబుకు తన జ్యేష్ఠత్వపు హక్కును అమ్ముకుంటాడు. ఏమంటారు, ఆకలి అయ్యి ఏమి దొరకకపోతే. సో అది యాక్చువల్గా దేవుడి వాక్యానికి వ్యతిరేకం, దేవుడి ఆజ్ఞలకు వ్యతిరేకం. సో ఈరోజు క్రైస్తవులు నిజానికి వాళ్లకు ఎవరు అసలు నిజానికి ఆ రోజు జీసస్ నజరేయుడైన యేసుక్రీస్తును ఎందుకు సిలువ వేశారు? యూదుల రాజును నేనే. మరి అక్కడున్న పేద ప్రజలందరికీ కూడా వాళ్ళందరి బాధలు తీర్చినందుకు 2 రొట్టెలను 2 చేపలను 5 రొట్టెలను వీళ్ళందరికీ 5,000 మందికి ఆ కొండ మీద పంచినందుకు గాను, లేకపోతే కుష్ఠరోగులను నయం చేసినందుకు గాను, పేదోళ్ళందరికి హెల్ప్ చేసినందుకు గాను ఆయన బాగా పాపులర్ అవుతున్నాడు అని చెప్పి మనందరి కోసం అతన్ని కల్వరిగిరిలో సిలువేశారు. సో ఈరోజు బహుజన సమాజం కూడా, నేను బహుజన ఎందుకంటే ఒక తథాగత గౌతమ బుద్ధుడు బుద్ధిజంలో బహుజన సుఖాయ బహుజన హితాన్ని ఎలా అయితే అన్నాడో, అదే విధంగా బైబిల్లో కూడా మత్తయి సువార్తలో బహుజన రాజ్యం గురించి చాలా క్లియర్గా చెప్పబడ్డది. సో అదే మత్తయి సువార్త 8వ అధ్యాయము 1వ వచనం, మీ దగ్గర బైబిల్ ఉంటే ఎవరైనా చదవచ్చు కూడా. తర్వాత అలాగే మీకు రోమాలో కూడా చెప్పబడ్డది. తర్వాత మీకు ఆది కాండంలో చెప్పబడ్డది. తర్వాత ఈరోజు క్రైస్తవులు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటంటే, డేవిడ్ అండ్ గోలియత్, క్రైస్తవులే కాదు అందరు కూడా, అన్ని హిందువులు, క్రైస్తవులు, ముస్లిమ్స్, డేవిడ్ అండ్ గోలియత్ స్టోరీ. సో ఈరోజు ఓటు హక్కు మనకు బాబాసాహెబ్ అంబేద్కర్ ఏ విధంగా అయితే ఇచ్చాడో అలాగే ఆనాడు యెహోవా దేవుడు డేవిడ్కు ఒక వడిసెల రాళ్ళు ఇచ్చాడు. సో అవి తీసుకొని గోలియత్ను ఓడిస్తాడు డేవిడ్ రాజు. సో అలాంటి ఒక అద్భుతమైన పవర్ ను ఇలా క్రైస్తవ సోదరులు దే ఆర్ ఓటింగ్ టు దేర్ పెరిల్. సో దట్స్ వై దే హావ్ ఓటెడ్ టు బీజేపీ అండ్ దెన్ టుడే BJP has BJP is burning the BJP is perpetrating the BJP ఎవరినైతే ప్రేరేపిస్తుందో BJP and RSS combined, they are burning their churches, then killing people, and then the women are being paraded nakedly, and then they are being molested, whatnot. Every damn thing is happening, and Congress is not able to raise its voice, and then ఇంతకుముందు కూడా వేశారు కానీ ఆయన కూడా పేదరికం అక్కడే ఉంది. అయితే నేనేమంటానంటే ఇలా పేద ప్రజల రాజ్యం నిజంగా రావాలంటే ఈ కాంగ్రెస్ తోనో బీజేపీతో కాదు, బహుజన రాజ్యంతోనే వస్తుంది అని నేను చెప్తున్నాను. అందుకొరకే లూకాసు వార్త 10వ అధ్యాయం 9వ వచనంలో కానీ, లూకాసు వార్త 17వ అధ్యాయం 20వ వచనంలో కానీ, రోమా 13:1 కానీ, ఇవన్నీ కూడా మత్తయిలో కానీ, మత్తయి సువార్త 13వ అధ్యాయం 2వ వచనంలో కానీ, 15వ అధ్యాయం 30వ వచనంలో కానీ బహుజన ప్రదం అనేది చాలా క్లియర్ గా ఉన్నది. సో టు ఓట్ ఫర్ బహుజన్ సమాజ్ పార్టీ ఈజ్ ఎ డివైన్ డ్యూటీ ఆఫ్ ఎవ్రీ గాడ్ ఫియరింగ్ పర్సన్. సో అందుకొరకే నేను I exhort all Christian friends and brothers to join, to support BSP, because BSP is the only party that can truly translate God's words into action, according to Bible. So అందుకొరకే నేను బహుజన్ సమాజ్ పార్టీలో జాయిన్ అయ్యాను.
Sure, sir. I just wanted to quickly follow it up with this question. So, why not have alliance with Congress or any other party to smoothly move into the assembly? Just the alliance, not joining, not getting into the party, but just like an alliance.
It's a good question. I think alliances are made on respectable ground. So it is for Congress to decide if they want to come back to power, what they have to do. So Bahujan Samaj Party is a 40 years old party, and then Congress knows what it is doing, and then Bahujan Samaj Party is, also knows what it is doing. So I have already said we are open to alliance with any party that protects Constitution, that truly believes in Bahujan rule. So, but it is for Congress, or it is for any party for that matter, to come forward and then see what they can offer. So we want to see their agenda. We want to see what they can offer to Bahujan masses. So we have already told what we are going to offer. So, but anyway, time is not very ripe. As of now, Bahujan Samaj Party at national level, as dictated by Bahinji Kumari Mayawati, we are neither going with UPA nor with NDA. I mean India and then NDA. So we are maintaining neutrality. Like us, I think 10 to 15 parties are maintaining the neutrality, because we believe that we will be able to serve our masses better if we remain independent instead of joining these dominant parties, because they never stood for social justice, and these poor people never got justice, real justice, when both the parties were in power. So that's why we wanted to maintain the distinct identity. And then, of course, politics, anything can happen, but as of now, we don't think about coalition. But if they are interested, they can always approach us. So you can also help us by putting a word to them. Thank you very much, Gracina. Nice talking to you.
Thank you so much, sir. I will definitely put in a word, and thank you so much.
Gracina, follow up to you. Can you check your chat? We are running, since Sir resigned, around exactly the same time, we have started a study abroad program to take these kids to the next level into the abroad studies and jobs. So we started with 8 students he gave us. Now we've grown up to 800 plus 400, over 1,000. We were done, but a lot of lessons we learned. we'd love to see how you actually ran. We can collaborate and combine our synergies.
Yeah, Roy, I think
Yeah.
Gracina can be a very good collaborator and a very good asset for this study abroad program. I request you to talk to her on sidelines maybe later. So I
Sure.
can
Thank
give
you.
you her number, and then probably you can.
Yeah, we'll follow up. And
she'll be of immense help to study abroad program for all the poorest of the poor people.
We certainly see that we hit her roadblocks. Andy, go ahead.
Lakshman is waiting for a long time, so.
There was an important question in the chat from the Dr. Portion, okay? Then we'll go to Lakshman. Andy, that question is very, very important.
Okay.
That it's from Dr. Portion. What he's saying, how to improve the voting percentages among the new voters, and also the early middle age, 25 to 35 years old. And in the last elections, he says that between 60, 70 voted, and this is the voters which closely align with our thought process. So what can be done, and what do you think will help to improve the voting percentages? From Dr. Koshin.
I think we need to talk to youth. I think it is not, there is no easy answer for this. We need to really make an extra effort, and we need to be absolutely proactive from now itself to tell people that their vote matters. Most of the times people think that voting is just a formality, voting just a ritual, so which will have no consequence whatsoever. So just because somebody has come to them and then ask them to vote, they go to vote. And in some families, parents vote for some party and then children vote for some other party. And in some families, people value the money that is given to them, and then they, like a quid pro quo, they vote. So, but all these are very unscientific way of voting, and then which will have no consequence, which will have a huge, bad consequences on society. So that's why we need to. We have been talking to people that your vote is very worthy. So your vote will protect life. Your vote will give education. Your vote will bring road to your village. Your vote, will punish the corrupt politicians. Your vote will reduce drudgery on women. Your vote, will protect your health as well. So health, wealth, whatnot. Your vote will ensure your religious freedom, and your vote is very important. And so that needs to be told to people, not just for one time, at least for 9 times. That's what research says. So then only voting percentage will improve. Generally, otherwise, ruling parties will always try to bring down the number of votes polled, because the less number of votes polled, better it is for a ruling party. If more number of votes polled, then it is good for opposition parties. That's what generally the research says. So it's very important for all like-minded people, well-intentioned people, to appeal to all youngsters. Voting is not a holiday. In fact, poor people always vote religiously, although it's a different thing that they may not vote by thinking deep into that. But rich people, they never vote, So because it's of no consequence to them. Anyway, they would get the contracts which they want, and their stooges will sit in the corridors of power or the higher offices, and then for them everything is provided for on platter. But poor people, for their benefits, for their homes, for their clothes, for their children, they go and then vote. So that is a tragedy. So majority vote, but majority get the raw deal. Minority do not vote, and they get the best deal. So this has to be changed. So we need to work hard, Poshan, to ensure that everybody votes on that day. Sometimes they use police to scare away the voters if somebody from opposition is winning. So there are a lot of techniques and tactics to scare away the voters. So, but we should ensure that people are properly educated that voting is a fundamental right guaranteed by Constitution. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Lakshman, are you still there? Hello?
Yes, I'm still here.
Please go ahead.
Hey, good morning and good evening to all. I'm Lakshman from Washington, D.C., back in India, Jagitial district, Japtapur village. So my question is, 40 years of BSP versus 2 years of DSP. Okay. So 40 years of BSP does not have a village committee in my village, but 2 years of DSP is having a village committee in my village. I don't know whether it is in my village or all the villages. Okay. So what is your agenda for that and action plan for that? And the second question is the BSP targeting only selected assembly divisions or the complete Telangana state to, contest the entire state? Okay, that is the second question. And the third question is, if we are not reaching to the village level, how can we get the votes? Because the villagers are voting, right? The majority votes are from villages, not from the cities and towns. Thank you.
Great question, Lakshman Garu. So let me come to the first question. So DSP with 2 years, they have a village committee in your village, and then the BSP with 40 years has village committee. So first thing is DSP is not 2 years old. They started it in 2009. And this is 2023, so you can imagine how much time gap has. There is a lot of
I can understand that maybe, but
yeah.
From last 2 years only, everybody know.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. So and BSP, unfortunately, it started its journey in 1989 in Telugu states when Andhra Pradesh was together. And they worked very hard, and then Pujja Tarakam, Katti Padmarao Garu, and all these people, great intellectuals, they took over the leadership of the party, and they worked really hard. But in those days, they could not go deep into the villages for various reasons. I think this is not probably the right forum and right time to go into the deeper reasons. So, but once upon a time in 2008 also BSP could make a lot of wave, but this time we are really going deeper, and then we have maybe in your village it is not there, but most of the villages we have committees. And then as we speak here today, a lot of villages, a lot of protests are happening, a lot of trainings are happening in the villages, and then a lot of BSP cadres are solving the problems. And it's an ongoing process. I think it's very naive to say that we have completed all village committees, even with the best of the machinery, with BJP today, and then with it being in the center for the last 10 years, and then in many villages BJP has no committees at all. So it takes some time. And I think we are going to reach there, and then I'll definitely assure you that in the days to come, probably within 2 years, we are going to have a beautiful BSP machine at every village, in every village, doing much better than many other organizations. I can assure you of that. Then what was your question, Lakshman? Second question, I forgot.
Yeah, the second question is, are you concentrating on?
Yeah, I am contesting from all constituencies. Yes, we are contesting from all constituencies. Maybe our intensity might vary, but we are contesting from all constituencies. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Few more questions, RSP Garu.
Andy, it's a 10 to 12. Okay, make sure you cut it in next 5 minutes. Okay. It's a long day.
Okay. Sure. Martin.
Yes. Good
Yeah,
evening,
please
Praveen
go
sir.
ahead.
My name is Martin Padeti. I'll quickly run through my question. I'm in from India. My native place is Kawal in Nellore district. I live in Dallas, Texas. I work as a project manager. One of the concern we have by living in the United States, sir, the constitutional change, removing from secular to the Hindutva agenda, which concerns us a lot. Um, and how I know you mentioned we will fight tooth and nail, but this is we need to engage all the Bahujans to fight against it, like a or like a Gandhian style of movement across the country. It is nothing to do with the politics, which party in the state or the center. As Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, educate, organize, agitate, and organize. What role we can contribute here by staying in the US, by educating to be proactive rather than reactive when that happens. So, I mean, we need to be very vigilant and be proactive and educate ourselves with the civil society here also by linking with Americans, by engaging the like Martin Luther King. There's a lot of organizations who works for the religious freedom. What's your suggestion? How can we make it? How can we protest that not happen to change the constitution? Sir.
Very good question. And thanks very much for asking this question. In India, unfortunately, people do not know what is constitution. Even the educated people, absolutely, they are not aware what exactly is constitution. I think 90% of the people may have not even read the constitution. In schools, constitution is not taught. Even if it is taught, it's just a tokenist approach. As a result, we grow up without having any knowledge on fundamental rights and the directive principles of state policy, preamble, and the institutions and the checks and balances provided for by the Constitution, and then constitutional amendments, so on and so forth. So unfortunate, but it is true. And we also do not invoke Constitution when our lives are in danger because we have ignorance. And we also do not tell people that Constitution matters. Whatever we are today, it is because of the constitutional rights as envisioned by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So unfortunately, we don't tell that. If we can do all these things to people, at least now, so spread the word in the US, spread the word from US soil to your villages, and form constitutional groups in the villages, and then ensure that there is a discussion, debate on Constitution and its core values, constitutional values, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity, and then the fundamental rights, rights from Article 14 to 32, and the directive principles of state policy, particularly the 39A, B, C, and all other directive principles up to Article 52 and all the important articles. So this is extremely important. If we don't tell these things to people, they're going to believe that the Hindu Rashtra Sambidhan, the BJP's version of constitution is going to solve all their problems, spiritual, then materialistic, and all other problems, and which is going to be disastrous for this country, and the country might lead to civil war. So that's why it's very, very important to wherever you are, whether you are in the US or UK or Australia or Africa, or whether Dallas or Detroit, whether it is Washington DC or Wyoming, or whether it is the Texas, or whether it is Atlanta, or this place Jersey. So whichever place you are in, please contact your friends and start WhatsApp groups, start giving lectures on Indian Constitution with whatever little knowledge you have, with proper reference, and then start YouTube lectures, start Twitter campaigns, start Twitter hashtags, and then start trigger Twitter trendings after due, not about politics as you. I really like the way you have put it in a Gandhian way. So we also want to bring that peaceful change. We don't want any violent change. And violent violent change in Indian context has been a big failure, and then we don't want that actually. So we want a peaceful, constitutional, legal, and that kind of transformation. So, and then we all have a role to play in that. And I think this is very, very important, very timely, and very important, very urgent. And otherwise, the change would be imminent. And then after that, there won't be even time left to lick the wounds. So that's the problem. So please trigger this conversation in all your villages, all your WhatsApp groups. Why Indian constitution in danger and what it matters. Will it lead to loss of jobs? Will it lead to loss of rights? Will it lead to loss of voting rights? Will it lead to loss of homes? Will it lead to loss of human rights? Will it? Will we be enslaved again as our forefathers were? So these are the things have to be told to the younger generation, and then they should be told to defend this constitution tooth and nail. And it's very important. Nothing can be more important than the self-respect. Nothing can be more important than the self-preservation. So if these things are not done, and then we will be failing the next generation. History won't forgive us. Thank you very much.
RSP Garu, I just want to read two comments before closing session. One
Yes,
comment from,
Andy.
yes.
Andy, Sandeep Loy is here. Sandeep Loy.
Okay.
Maybe he. Sandeep.
Yes. Sandeep.
Maybe that's the last question.
Thanks a lot, Roy Garu. Hello, RSP sir. My name is Sandeep. I am from Chicago. Had the good fortune to meet you last year when you were here at Sai Reddy Garu's place. I am from Punjab, and growing up, I was lucky enough to go with my parents and attend some of Sahib Kanshi Ram's rallies, even though I was a child. So we have been in the BSP movement right from the start. Sir, the question I have for you is beyond 2024. I know we've been talking about that. What I wanted to ask you was, what are your thoughts on the delimitation commission? And the upcoming changes and what's coming up in 2026, especially, and based on the current projections of the seat reductions based on population, right? And the BJP strongholds, UP, Bihar, they getting a disproportionate rise in the Lok Sabha seats. And if that happens in the current government, they probably have every incentive to go ahead with it. What is BSP's position or your thoughts on that? Like, the governments in the past have sort of kicked the can down the road. They've frozen it, right? They haven't changed the calculation. What do you see happening? Is it something that is going to benefit us, the Bahujans or the community, or not?
Good question. I have not given much thought on this, and then I won't be able to. I know this is happening, and I totally agree with you. And BSP has not come up with an official position on that, but my personal position is I would oppose it because if you base it on the if you divide the constituencies, or if you increase the constituencies based on the population, and then the states which have disproportionate population density, so or the population growth rate is more, these states would get more number of seats, and the states where the growth rate has been controlled and where the literacy has gone up, as a result the growth rate has fallen, and where the per capita income is more, and then where the per capita GDP to the country is more, they get the less proportion seats. And in other words, it would infer that the poor people will, the backward states, the states which have been a drag on the Indian economy, would get disproportionately high number of seats, and they become the cannon fodder for all these fascist forces. And then I would oppose this, and then quite a few political parties from South have opposed this. So I also oppose this, not because I am from South India, but I oppose this on a scientific lines. So but I have not yet checked up my party's position on that. So that is what it is. Thanks for asking this question. This is a good question.
Yes. There are two comments I just want to read and just
Yeah.
do the closing session, sir. So one recommendation is from Reverend Lazarus. He is recommending that to use Christian schools to teach Constitution. And another recommendation is from research scholar from Maryland University, Imtiaz. He is very much interested in through his research to on extreme violence on youth, and he wants to teach how religion is a solution. So those are two comments he made as a part of our discussion here. So thank you all for the participating and making this session success by identity very successful. Thank you so much, sir. We look forward to see you again with more political strength and towards your success goal of leading to the government. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Andy. I really enjoyed talking to you, and talking to you all, and thanks for this invigorating and then stimulating conversation. Thank you very much, and then take care, everyone. Have a good evening and a good day in India. Thank you.
Thank you.
sir. Good night.
Good night.
Santi, can you just close the recording and send the YouTube link? Thank you. Just put the thumbnails, okay? Thank you.
Okay.